We've mentioned brainstorming a few times during this course, but in this lesson we'll go into more detail. Brainstorming is where people get together to give their ideas about a topic. For example, how to solve a problem or choose the name of a new product. We're going to talk about how you can lead a brainstorming session and how to participate effectively in a brainstorming session. Each of these tasks can be challenging, but at the end of this lesson, you'll feel more confident in doing both. Here are the learning objectives for this lesson. At the end of this lesson, you'll be able to list guidelines for running or facilitating a brainstorming session. Then you'll be able to identify effective vocabulary for running and participating in a brainstorming session, especially asking for and giving ideas and asking what someone means or asking for clarification. Are you ready? Then let's begin. To help you understand exactly what brainstorming is, let's do a simple example. We're going to be talking a lot about ideas in this lesson, so think about this word, idea. What are some adjectives that we can use with the word idea? Think about this for a few seconds, then listen as some people give their suggestions.
A good idea.
A bad idea.
An interesting idea.
A nice idea.
An original idea.
A clever idea.
Were any of those adjectives the same as what you thought of? These adjectives are all common adjectives that we can use with the word idea. Now, let's do the same with verbs. This time, let's make the noun plural, ideas. What are some verbs that we can use with this word, ideas? Again, think about this for a few seconds, then listen as some people give their suggestions.
Have ideas.
Come up with ideas.
Suggest ideas.
Share ideas.
Encourage ideas.
Generate ideas.
Welcome ideas.
Again, were any of those verbs the same as what you thought of? If some of those verbs and adjectives were unfamiliar to you, you will actually be seeing and using some of these expressions during the lesson, and you'll get to know them quite well by the end. So, what we just did was a kind of brainstorming. I asked a question, and people quickly gave me their ideas. In many organizations, brainstorming is a very common way to get people to think creatively and to generate ideas that can help solve a problem or move the company forward. But to be successful with brainstorming, there are a few guidelines that we should follow. Let's watch an example of a brainstorming meeting at Rainier Chocolates. Think about what is good or bad about it.
Thanks everyone for coming. So let's get started. Today, I want you to come up with some ideas for new chocolate flavors.
Oh, okay.
So, anyone have any ideas?
What about white chocolate and cranberry?
Really? Okay.
No, not cranberry. How about apple? White chocolate and apple.
Yeah, white chocolate and apple.
Okay, guys. Bacon.
Bacon?
Come on, Neil, be serious.
Oh, that reminds me. Does anyone want coffee and donuts? I didn't have any breakfast.
What if we put espresso with blackberry?
Okay. Well, we still have 10 more minutes. Any more ideas?
What do you think? Was that a good or bad brainstorming? It was a bad brainstorming session. But what exactly was wrong with it? Let's talk about how it could be improved. The most important person in a brainstorming session is the leader or facilitator, so we'll focus on what the facilitator could have done better. First, it seemed that the participants didn't know what the meeting was about. They seemed surprised to find out that they needed to come up with some ideas for for new chocolate flavors. We've mentioned this several times throughout the course. The participants need to know what they will discuss so that they can come prepared. Sending out an email with the goal of the brainstorming would have been a good idea. This doesn't mean that the participants should know all the ideas they are going to suggest beforehand. A brainstorming is supposed to help people generate ideas as a group during the meeting. The facilitator should begin by asking the question that the participants' ideas are supposed to answer. For example, the facilitator could ask, what 4 new flavors should we introduce for next year? Using a question like this can help focus people's attention and is much better than, I want you to come up with some new flavors. The other people in the brainstorming weren't very active at the beginning, probably because they weren't prepared. But even if they did know the topic beforehand, the facilitator should give them a minute to think of 1 or 2 ideas before starting the brainstorming. At the end of the meeting, the people look tired. Brainstorming is usually quick and doesn't last too long. It's a good idea for the facilitator to set a time limit and make sure that a brainstorming doesn't go longer. A suggested guideline is around 20 minutes and nothing over 40. The next thing that was not successful about the brainstorming that you saw was that some of the people didn't seem to want to give their ideas. They seemed discouraged. This is the most important thing about brainstorming. This is a time for giving ideas, not for evaluating ideas. This means that all ideas are welcome, even if they seem to you like a bad idea. The facilitator doesn't want to discourage people from giving their ideas. To do this, the facilitator should not react negatively to anyone's ideas, saying, "Really?" or "I don't think that's a good idea," is not appropriate. In fact, reacting positively like, "Good, okay, interesting idea," encourages people to participate. However, the reactions should be equal. Don't react more positively to one person's idea than another, like in the example we just saw. But it's not only the facilitator who shouldn't react negatively. Other people should not disagree with or criticize another person's idea. To help, it's a good idea for the facilitator to say at the start of the session that there are no bad ideas. The facilitator should also note the ideas people give so that they aren't forgotten. Often this is done on a flip chart, whiteboard, or on a screen. When the brainstorming finishes, the ideas will be organized and the best ones chosen. This is much easier if the ideas have been saved somehow. The job of the facilitator is also to encourage ideas if people are having trouble. This might mean asking another focused question or doing something creative like moving people around, or if it is a large meeting, breaking it up into small groups. Of course, as we learned with any leader of a meeting, the facilitator should also make sure that people stay on topic. And if someone says something that isn't clear, ask for clarification. So, what happens when the brainstorming has finished? Well, the ideas can then be organized and the best ones selected. This is when we evaluate the ideas. And then it is decided how to follow up. For example, if someone is going to write a proposal or report to another group in another meeting. Okay, we saw a bad example, so let's watch a better version of the brainstorming to see these guidelines in action. Watch and notice how many of these things the facilitator does.
Thanks everyone for coming. So let's get started. You all got the email, so you know why we're here. What new flavors should we introduce for the next year? We have about 20 minutes, and remember, there's no bad ideas. So let's hear your thoughts.
What about white chocolate and cranberry?
Okay, white chocolate and cranberry.
Picking up on the white chocolate idea, we could combine it with apple. White chocolate and apple.
Okay, good. White chocolate and apple.
Okay. This might this might sound a little weird. White chocolate and bacon.
Bacon.
Yeah, I've seen it in stores. Apparently it's good.
Okay, interesting idea, Neil. Let's put bacon up there.
Caramel is always popular. We could combine it with something interesting.
Okay, I don't know about this. Maybe caramel and chili?
Caramel and chili. Nice. Okay, anything else? No? Well then, great job, everyone. Let's take the next 5 minutes for coffee, and then we'll come back and we'll pick the best 10.
That brainstorming was much better, wasn't it? Let's check what the facilitator did. The facilitator set a time limit, but didn't give people a few minutes to think, probably because they were already prepared. The facilitator reacted positively to the ideas. We didn't see a time when the facilitator had to stop someone going off topic, but ideas were written down, and we also saw the facilitator finish the brainstorming. So you've seen a bad example and a good example. Now, let's review the guidelines for running a brainstorming meeting. Make sure everyone knows the topic before the meeting starts, and restate the goal as a question at the start. Set a time limit. Welcome all ideas. Remember, there are no bad ideas. Encourage people by reacting positively. Record the ideas on a flip chart, board, or a screen. Keep the brainstorming focused, and ask for clarification when necessary.